Back again for another episode of the Summer Shift presented by US Steel. This is episode 5. They let us carry it out this long. We've had some forwards, we've had a head coach. Now we jump to the blue line. Mike Matheson, Penguins defenseman, joining us here on the Summer Shift. Mike, thanks so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great to have you on. And let's first start. I'm sure we'll get to some hockey conversation at some point, but you're a dad. Congratulations. How are things going?
Yeah, thank you. It's been a crazy, I guess, 2 months in 2 days from now. It seems like it's gone by really fast, but it's been, a lot of people leading up to it were telling my wife and I that, enjoy every single moment because each moment brings new challenges but new rewards. And I don't know, it was a week ago or whatever, my son started smiling at us a little bit, and that feeling was pretty indescribable.
Yeah, that's an amazing moment. Hudson Gray Matheson was born on June 5th. So you said a little bit, dad life's been exciting. There's a lot of, I think each day is like a different journey. I have a 3-month-old myself, so everything's exciting from day to day. There's so many milestones that they hit. But I'm curious, did you guys know it was going to be a boy? Did you go in kind of unknown when Hudson was born?
No, yeah, we found out pretty much as soon as possible. I think both of us are too big of planners to let that go from the last second. So yeah, we found out as soon as possible.
And you mentioned the 2-month birthday coming up this week. Any big plans for that? I know people like to go all in on the social media with the month-to-month birthday things for their infants.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot planned now. I I think we'll probably just have dinner and hopefully get him to bed on time.
Yeah, I'll cross my fingers for you on that one from personal
Maybe get
experience.
good sleep.
I think it's interesting, Mike. You learn so much on the fly as a dad. Obviously, so many people give you advice, but you also figure out things. You and Emily, your wife, doing things. What works for you and what works best for Hudson. But then you kind of learn things along the way. And I'm wondering now, with some perspective, what do you think is more dangerous, the 2-goal lead in hockey or missing the nap window for
Oh,
Hudson?
the nap window is so short. It's such a balance because if you go too early, they're too busy and not quite ready, and then it seems like it's a minute window where all of a sudden they start crying and you're hooped at that point. So
Locked
I
in.
nap window, yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would actually agree with that. No, obviously NHL experience, but from the dad side, 100% agree on that one. I think it's fair to say that you guys will definitely raise Hudson right. I assume this season coming up, he'll take in his first Penguins game. I also
Right.
assume he'll probably be wearing a black and gold number 5. Now, when I had my son, we were given a nice, awesome gift pack from the Penguins to kind of welcome him into the world. His name's Gunner, but we were given a different jersey. We were given a Penguins. I'm just wondering, based on your perspective, if this guy is a good role model for my son.
Yeah, that's a pretty good role model.
Is
Jeez.
he?
I almost wish my son got that jersey instead of the number 5.
Jake Gensel's a good. Okay, I'm sure that's probably the first time he's heard that. Jake Gensel's a good role
I mean, for
model.
a hockey player, I'd love to meet Jake Gensel on the ice. So, and then as a guy, I mean, he's a hard worker, comes to the rink and focuses on what he has to do. So, yeah, I think he's a good role model for sure.
Fair enough. All right, that's good to know. I will pass it along to my son. I'm sure he'll have this on when he gets out to a Penguins game this year. I
Uh,
know we're all looking forward to that, and I'm sure just in the lead up to this season, there's so much time that you're spending under the roof with your wife Emily, and obviously anyone who doesn't know you, who you are, probably knows you as the husband of Olympic gold medalist. We'll call her Emily Pfalzer, Emily Matheson. Everyone knows who she is from the hockey circles, but defenseman for Team USA. First of all, what's it like being a gold medalist husband? Like that seems to be pretty uncharted territory for a lot of guys, but you're in a unique group with that.
yeah, I sure am. I mean, I unfortunately wasn't able to be there when she did win, but I was in Florida at the time, and funny story, we had a game the next night, and because of the time change, her game was, I think, at like 1:30 a.m. So I went to sleep at 8 o'clock at night or something the night before, and then woke up at 1:30, watched the whole game, and afterwards we FaceTimed while she was still on the ice with her gold medal and stuff like that. And then I got up the next morning and went and played my game. But yeah, it was. I mean, I obviously wish I could have been there, but I was so proud of her to see her achieve her dream of winning a gold medal. And it's still pretty cool to be able to see her bring it out every once in a while. She's always a little embarrassed to do it, and so I kind of force her to. I'll force her into situations where I'll make her bring it to show it to people, because I think that's the coolest part, is being able to be back here in her home country and sharing it with so many different people. The faces that people make when they really do get to see a gold medal and touch it and see how heavy it is. It must be super rewarding for her, and I know it is for me as her husband. So can't imagine what that is like for her.
Yeah, I mean that gold medal game, that was the shootout win, right, over Canada. So how did you kind of keep things? I guess first of all, let me backtrack for a second. Were you at home or were you in a hotel room while this was happening?
I was at home. Yeah.
Oh, that's probably good for the hotels on the road, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was at home. It was a crazy game. That's by far the most nervous I've ever been watching a hockey game.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and it was awesome to see the U.S. pull it out. As you mentioned, she gets the gold. I'm not putting you on the spot here. I don't want to reveal anything that no one wants to put out there yet, but are there any plans for 2022 for Emily? Or
I think it's still up in the air for her.
okay,
At this point, going into the pregnancy, she kind of wasn't too sure what would come of it, and she literally just got cleared to resume any sort of activity. And I think that's one part of pregnancies that a lot of people don't think about, is the aftermath, to put it lightly, and what women have to go through after, and the toll it puts on their body. And so that's up to her, and I'll definitely be there to support her along the way, whatever decision she makes. But I think at this point it's kind of impossible for her to know for sure, because she hasn't even had the opportunity to you know get her heart rate up, let alone
right.
get ice and see what her body feels like playing hockey again. So I think that's something that she'll have to take day by day and see how it goes, and ultimately make a decision at some point.
I mean, that's fair. And obviously the biggest thing is her health, and it's good to hear that she's doing well on the more than road to recovery. And we wish her the best of luck getting back to full strength here in the coming months ahead. Uh, she's a gold medalist, as we mentioned. You've been in the National Hockey League for a handful of seasons now. You've established yourself as a steady NHL defenseman. I think one thing that comes into the fold when you talk about that is competitiveness that gets people to that level. Is there a lot of that happening under your roof? I have to imagine, like, it's probably not like, oh, I'll just take out the trash and you can do this. It's probably like, who can do more, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, it's funny. We kind of it's more stuff like, if we play cards or if we play board games, or just anything a little bit competitive like that. It's not like both of us are like trash talking each other or anything like that. We kind of just get super quiet and stop talking to each other during it,
All
and
right.
know that, like, one of us will know that the other's beating the other one and be like, okay, I gotta keep this going, and the other one's kind of pissed off that they're losing. And so it's kind of a quiet competitiveness back and forth, I'd say.
You can cut the tension with a knife there with you two.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We don't
uh,
about it or anything, but it's
right.
there for.
I will ask the elephant in the room question. Obviously, you're Canadian, she's American. How does that work? How do you guys balance things on that end? There's a question later on as that pertains to Hudson. I'll wait for that one. But for the two of you, how does it work with the Canada USA rivalry? I mean, she got her gold medal beating your country.
She sure did, yeah. No, I mean, I I had the opportunity to play in the World Championships a couple times, and one of the times she was able to come watch too, and she was sitting in the stands wearing Canada gear and cheering on and all that. And at the end of the day, if I had been able to go to the Olympics, I would have done the same. Actually, one year we unfortunately didn't make the playoffs in Florida, and a few weeks later she was playing in the World Championships in Finland, so I flew over to see her play.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, both of us are super proud of the countries that we come from, and once we have that opportunity to represent our countries, it's something that we take super seriously and feel very lucky to be able to do. But in the supportive role as husband and wife, I mean, there's no question about being able to cheer each other on, even if it is against your home country.
Well, look, I mean, being from just around the Buffalo area, she's kind of like half Canadian anyway, just based on location.
She's basically Canadian.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So you get the best of both worlds there. But if Hudson, we're not going to put any pressure on Hudson, but if he is a hockey player, he's definitely got it in the genes. You and Emily can both fly on the ice. Do you want him to have Emily's foot speed or your foot speed?
I don't know. I mean, her foot speed got her onto an Olympic team, and I haven't yet, so I'd say hers.
All right, fair enough. Obviously, dad life has kept you pretty busy, Mike. You definitely have the sense of humor, though. That's good too. It's keeping you awake at times. I'm sure the coffee's at an optimum level. But I wonder, if it's kept you away from your normal training at all, and not so much in the sense of staying in shape. More so, I know you usually spend your summers in Montreal, training up there at the Adrenaline Performance Center, where Chris Letang trains. Not sure if you've poked around on Instagram lately, but he's at it again with his wild videos of training. Does anyone put out any crazier videos on Instagram than Chris Letang with some of the training videos we've seen recently?
No, I mean, I'm not really on social media, so I haven't seen the videos, but I'm sure I know what they look. They look probably pretty familiar to me. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a testament to my wife and the amount that she's done in the last few months. During the week, she lets me sleep a little bit more than the weekends, knowing that I have to wake up and go to the rink for 3 or 4 hours and train. And so yeah, I've been pretty lucky that I think that's part of the fact that she understands what it's like to be a professional athlete, and that you may only be cutting out 4 hours of your life in the morning to train, but that you're performing at a high level during those 4 hours. And so if you don't have rest, you're in trouble. And so I've been lucky to have her allow me to do that. And we decided to stay here in Pittsburgh for this summer, just because we thought it would be the smoothest transition and easiest thing for us to do for the family's sake, and getting Hudson acclimated to the area instead of going up to Montreal and renting a place and dealing with all that. So I definitely miss being able to be at APC and seeing all the people there, like John Chamberg, and obviously spending the summer with Chris. But I've been training here with our trainer here, Al Trinka, and I think it's been going great. I'm super excited for the season to get going. The summer's been way too long.
Alex Trinka is a Lawrenceville legend in the city of Pittsburgh. Let me ask you this. You mentioned John Chamberg and training up there at APC. There was a video that was posted a couple summers ago of Chris Letang. I think he was racing Terrell Owens. Do you occasionally, when you're up there training, do you get some wild, I don't want to say celebrities, but some non-hockey wild drop-ins as far as people you wouldn't necessarily see that are suddenly right there training alongside you?
Yeah, I mean, John has a pretty big following, especially on social media, and Montreal is a great place to go visit. And so oftentimes he'll get a message from people saying, I'm coming into town, and obviously he's a big name in Montreal in terms of working out, and so yeah, he'll definitely attract some names. I think T.O. was one of the coolest ones to have him there that day, and especially because he broke Chris's ankle, so it was the best part. So it was super impressive to see him do his thing, though. Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that. You put it out there. He did break his ankle.
Well, that's what's so impressive is Chris is known for his agility, right? And
Right.
You can see the difference between a hockey player and a football player pretty quickly when you're doing footwork drills.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy. T.O.'s like almost 40 years old too, and just flying
Exactly.
around like that.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Well, obviously, as you said, you're in Pittsburgh now, getting ready for year number 2 as a Penguin. Year number 1 was different. I mean, we're talking still virtually here right now in the summertime, but everything about it, I'm sure, was not the way anyone would have planned for their first season with a new organization to be, from mainly an off-ice perspective, but from the whole perspective of just year number 1 with the Penguins. How do you feel like it went for you, and what are you looking forward to in year 2?
Well, I think on the ice, it's still tough to look past the playoffs. I mean, I thought we had a great team, and that's, I guess, a testament to the Islanders. They're a great team too, and they played a really solid series. And so anybody that says it's easy to win in the playoffs is a liar, because there's a lot of great teams that don't, and we were one of them. And so I think that's the main thing that I keep looking back on, is just how great of a shot that was, and then taking that feeling and just going right into next year and knowing that we still have a great shot and we still have a great team that is going to be able to compete next year. And so bring that bitter taste in my mouth into next year. And I think personally, starting off the year getting injured was hard, coming into a newer organization and wanting to impress and earn respect from, my teammates, the coaches, management, the fans, and then just being sidelined for a while. And so I think after that, I was able to pick up my game more and more as the season went on. I thought in the playoffs, I was playing strong hockey and building towards the game that I want to play. And so I think for next year, it's all about starting on the right foot and kind of getting kicked off on that same path. But I think the biggest difference between last year and this coming year is, or so I hope for, is that off the ice I can experience being a Penguin a little bit more, get involved in the community more. We were on lockdown the whole year, and so I wasn't able to get out and get involved in the community in any sort of way and interact with fans and all that sort of stuff that that is a great part of being a Penguin. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to do more of that next year.
Looking forward to all those things here for you in year number 2 in Pittsburgh. As we turn our attention now to the fan questions, we have a handful of them here for you, Mike. First, from your team at Penguins. They want to know, we talked about Chris Letang for a little bit. I guess he could definitely fall into one of these categories, but would you rather be overdressed or underdressed?
I guess it depends on what you're walking into, but I'd say overdressed. Dress for the job you want, not the one you have.
Wow, that's a college-educated man right there with a line like that. Let's get the next question. At Stars Over Sea, I mentioned there was a question about Gunner, or that's my son, about Hudson. Lack of sleep. Here is the question about Hudson. If he grows up to play hockey, I know where he was born, but is he going to have the Maple Leaf crest or the red, white, and blue on him? Is he Canada or USA?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess that'll be his decision. He can let one of us down on its own.
Look at him. He's already disappointing and he's 2 months old. Come on, Hudson. Let's go to at Jack Season. He wants to know, you from the Montreal area, so you obviously know. I can tell you from the media perspective, we love going to the Bell Center for the view, the atmosphere, and those hot dogs are
Oh yeah.
pretty good. So Jack Season wants to know, is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, it's a hot dog. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, right? It's like its own thing.
Yeah.
It's its own food group because it's not like a food.
Exactly. I'd say it's its own category.
Okay. All right. Last question. I'm wondering if this person, now that I'm seeing the name of the Twitter handle, happens to be more of a fan of your wife than you. But she also has a food question. At Butte's Blue Line, is cereal soup?
Never heard that one. I've heard the hot dog one, but not that one. No, cereal. I
It's
eat,
its own food group?
but yeah.
All right. All right. Well, there you go. So a hot dog is not a sandwich, it's a hot dog.
Yeah.
Cereal is not soup, it's cereal. We keep it straightforward here on this episode of the Summer Shift. What's one superstition that you have? Maybe your biggest one, if you have one. I feel like it's a rite of passage for being a Penguin.
It sure is. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed coming into this team is there's a lot of superstition going on. When I was younger, I had so many superstitions, and I found they almost started getting in the way, and so I've tried to move away from them.
Mhm.
I just have little routine type things that I end up doing the same thing leading up to a game, but it's not necessarily because I feel like it's a superstition. It's just I know that works to get warmed up and ready for the game.
Mhm.
Um, I tape my stick, and once I tape my stick, the blade can't touch the ground until I'm on the
Okay.
ice. That's a straight up superstition. So
The hot stick. You don't want to ruin it, right?
yeah.
Okay, we'll take that one. Let's see. What else do we have here? Okay, something you can't live without.
Hmm. Like a materialistic type thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I should have
Uh,
specified.
I mean, I'd love to be able to live without my phone, but it seems like it's getting harder and harder to do that. It seems like people always need to be able to be in touch with you, and so I'd love to not have a phone, but I don't think that's possible. So I'd say the phone.
Now you have all the baby apps on there too, probably.
Exactly, everything is based off your phone. So yeah, I don't think I could get too far without it nowadays.
I know you guys said you're going to be in Pittsburgh, and you are in Pittsburgh this summer. Do you have any plans for a quick little vacation or getaway, or are you sticking around this area before the season starts?
My sister's getting married in Toronto, so
Oh,
we're gonna head up there in a few weeks and be able to enjoy that. So they haven't met Hudson yet or anything because of the border being closed and all that. My parents came down and met him, but my siblings haven't yet. So that'll that'll be a pretty fun week to be able to obviously have them meet him and then celebrate my sister's wedding. So I'm looking
yeah,
forward to that.
that's great. Congratulations. This next one, I also want to preface by saying the four people that have gone before you have stumped me in this. It's not a hard thing to do. Um, it's two truths and a lie. So I'm sure you played this game, but if you have not, you basically give me three things. One of them has to be a lie, but you want to present all three as a truth. I have to guess the lie, and if I don't guess it, you win. And no
Okay.
pressure, but everyone before you has won.
All right. So I got to think of what order to put them in.
I know it's all about strategy, right?
Exactly. Let me think about it. All right. I have a degree in psychology. I can speak 3 languages. My father's name is Roderick.
Whew. Well, those are there wasn't any in there that made me think like no chance. Because you obviously went to Boston College, so I think there's possibility it could be psychology. I would assume you speak at least French and English based on being born in Montreal or have some kind of French. Roderick. Rod Matheson sounds like a very believable name. So does Roderick. Uh, Hmm. I'm gonna go with 3 languages.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, only 2.
Wow. Yes. Play the music. Finally. He wins one. That was a wild guess, but I'll take it. Was French, is it French and English? Is that where
Yeah,
you count out?
yeah.
What level French are you? Are you pretty fluent or?
Yeah, I mean, I get rusty when I don't speak it for a while. You'll have to ask Tanger how good my French is.
I will.
I'm fluent, but it's not like you can definitely hear the accent when I speak French. So
Okay, fair
yeah.
enough. Last thing for you. Give us a recommendation of something that you're into. It could be a TV show, a book, a movie, a song, podcast, a workout, real anything really. Something that
It's
you're into.
something I'm into.
Yeah, right now.
I got to think back a couple months because I'm not into much right now other than taking care of baby.
Fair. You
Uh,
memorize the songs, that's for sure.
I mean, I have a hobby of doing woodworking.
Oh, cool.
So I'd say that I haven't done a whole lot of it lately, obviously, but
Okay.
yeah, that's something I enjoy doing. Something relaxing, kind of takes my mind off things, and yeah, it's enjoyable.
What's the coolest thing you've ever done from your woodworking craft?
I'm in the middle of making a table right now. And,
Nice.
um, I've made a few like charcuterie boards, cutting boards, coasters, stuff like that. Just
Nice.
kind of with like the table I'm working on right now is one of those river tables, so it's like resin down the middle and stuff like that. So
Wow.
that's kind of the stuff I'm into.
That's pretty cool. That's a decent side job. That pays okay aside from the hockey salary.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's awesome. Well, Mike, really appreciate you taking the time. I know life is busy right now, but the little bit that you gave us here, I think everyone enjoyed. Good to catch up with you. Looking forward to seeing you in person in about a month and a half here for training camp. So
Yep.
best of luck with Hudson, with Emily, the training, and we will see you for training camp in September.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me, and good luck with Gunner.
Thanks, Mike. That is Mike Matheson, Penguins defenseman. This has been episode 5 of the Summer Shift presented by US Steel. We'll catch you next time.